everybody. This is Joseph P. Farrell with news and views from the Nefarium. On Wednesday, December 6, 2023, I'm doing my news and views one day early, folks, because they are predicting weather that might turn severe on Friday late afternoon, evening. So I wanted to put this out and make sure that I warned everybody. I am planning to go ahead with the vid chat this Friday afternoon, but I am going to be starting it earlier, probably between noon and 12:30 U.S. Central Time. But please bear that in mind, and also keep checking the schedule tomorrow. On Thursday, I might end up rescheduling the vid chat anyway, just depending on the updated forecast. But for now, Wednesday evening, I'm simply going to move the vid chat earlier on Friday and hope that we'll get through before any stormy or severe weather moves into my area. So be on the lookout for that. Please remember to get your questions and comments in no later than 10 o'clock U.S. Central Time tomorrow, Thursday evening. And please remember to keep your questions focused, your comments short. We have had to bear an expense, quite an expense on the website, to pay for the bandwidth of this Vimeo platform, and I think we're going over. So please keep yourselves focused. Limit your comments and extraneous conversation so that we can perhaps try and cut down on our bandwidth a bit. Now, today's news and views is about the COVID quackcines. I'm going to just come right out and say it, because from the very beginning, I was, as most of you know, extremely hesitant about what we were being told about the planned scamdemic, and even more importantly, what we were being told to do about it, namely receive horribly experimental injections, which I was, as you know, absolutely not going to do come hell or high water. Now, after 2 years, we are hearing increasing stories, almost horror stories, about adverse reactions to these horrible mRNA experimental injections. Many of you have seen and many of you have sent me articles of pictures of the so-called blood clots that people are having removed from their body, or in the case of dead people that undertakers have discovered as they are trying to process people for embalming. These horribly long, stringy, rubbery blood clots that have appeared in people. And the adverse reactions are only piling up. In fact, just earlier this week, I blogged about a story about the Texas State Attorney General, Ken Paxton. Remember, he was the Attorney General that the Bushies led an effort to try and impeach, and of course that fell apart and he remains in office. I strongly suspect that his impeachment was in fact related to Big Pharma and the whole planned scamdemic narrative, because Mr. Paxton has initiated a lawsuit against the Pfizer Corporation, essentially for fraudulent advertising and claims about its so-called vaccine. So this is the backdrop for today's story. The other thing that I'm sure that many of you are familiar with is not only the adverse reactions, but I'm going to be linking to this news and views a short little video of an interview with an Australian pilot who is maintaining that in the world, the world of private pilots flying millionaires and billionaires on their private jets, that now the call has gone out for pilots to fly these people who are unvaccinated. Now, with that in the background, I want to read a very, very short article. And in fact, I'm going to read the whole article from Armstrong Economics because it's a stunner, and particularly the second paragraph. Because if you had any doubt that there's at least a statistical correlation between a dramatic uptick in adverse reactions and in strained diseases and the administration of the quackcines, as I like to call them, I think this little article will dispel any lingering doubts that you may have. The article is titled Heart Failure Up Among Pilots 1,000% in 2022. And here's the article, quote, "New data from the U.S. Department of Defense indicates a significant increase in heart issues among pilots, with heart failure spiking nearly 1,000% in 2022. And again, that was when I had my own heart attack, and it was after exposure to people that did take the vaccines, which I did not. So, even though I'm a heavy smoker, a part of me always wonders if there's some relationship between the phenomenon of spreading and my own heart attack. In any case, to continue the article, quote, Lieutenant Ted Macy, an active duty officer with the U.S. Navy Medical Service Corps, raised concerns about the health risks associated with the COVID-19 shots, including heart-related ailments. The data obtained from the Pentagon's Defense Medical Epidemiology database shows drastic spikes in various diagnoses for serious medical issues, prompting questions about the potential impact of the COVID-19 vaccine on the health of service members. Now listen, folks, to these statistics of Pentagon data amongst service personnel. Listen very carefully. This is quite an inventory. Quote, in addition to the serious cardiovascular issues, the Pentagon saw significant spikes in numerous ailments well beyond their 5-year averages, including hypertension, 2,181% increase, neurological disorders, 1,048% increase, multiple sclerosis, 680% increase, Guillain-Barré syndrome, 551% increase, breast cancer, 487% increase, female infertility at 472% increase, pulmonary embolism, 468% increase, migraines, 452% increase, ovarian dysfunction, 437% increase, testicular cancer, 369% increase, and tachycardia at 302% increase. So in other words, folks, at a minimum, a threefold increase in tachycardia all the way up to a 20-fold increase in hypertension. To continue, heart-related ailments have soared over the past 5 years, as well as including hypertension, 36%, ischemic heart disease at 69%, pulmonary heart disease at 62%, heart failure at 973%, cardiomyopathy at 152%, and other non-specified heart diseases at 63%. Now, folks, I know that correlation is not causation. But when you have this amount of statistical correlation, the causative connection cannot reasonably be ignored. There is something going on in these injections. There is some sort of connection between them and this massive increase of these types of problems. Now let me finish this article out, and then I want to elaborate a bit of the implications. The findings have reignited discussions about the safety and efficacy of the vaccine mandate for military personnel. As well they should, I might add. A 1,000% increase in heart failures among pilots. Listen to that again, folks. A 1,000% increase in heart failures among pilots in just 1 year is cause for major concern. Why must we continually force service members to take these vaccines when we know they are unlikely, that they are likely unsafe? And that indeed is the question. Why indeed are they being forced to take it? Now, folks, if that little story, the little video out of Australia with the Australian pilot maintaining that private pilots that are unvaccinated are being sought by the wealthy to fly them in their private planes, if that doesn't convince you that there is a massive problem at hand, then I don't know what will. I sincerely hope and devoutly wish that Mr. Paxton's lawsuit will not only be successful, but that as a result of it, the privileged position of these corporations to do these horrid kinds of covert experiments on human subjects is brought to an absolute end, and that they lose their vaccine immunity forever. And I also hope that there's a considerable degree of criminal prosecution of some of these people that were behind all of this, because this is criminal. No two ways about it. So that's it for our news and views this week, folks. Please don't forget, we are going to have VidChat this Friday, barring any last-minute severe weather chances earlier on the day and Friday. Please remember, we're going to be starting early, probably around noon to 12:30 U.S. Central Time. Get your comments and questions in by no later than 10 o'clock U.S. Central Time tomorrow night. That's it for this week's news and views, folks. This will be our second to the last news and views of 2023. I may be doing news and views through my Christmas vacation. I really haven't decided yet. But in case I don't do them, this will be indeed the second to the last news and views. We do have the VidChat this Friday, and then the final VidChat a week from this Friday. And then I'm taking from the rest of the year on up through Epiphany next year as a kind of vacation. So that's it, folks. We'll see you on the flip side. Bye-bye, and God bless.